before I cut off any of the excess strings everywhere.
What was that?
Before I... What?
You said access.
Excess.
Excess?
Excess.
Excess?
Don't even.
She's trying to say excess.
That's what I was saying.
No.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is the fifth and final video in a series about making your own cloth diaper. Last week, I showed you how to put the hip elastic on, as well as the turn and top stitch for the cloth diaper. And this week, I'm going to show you how to put the elastic in the pocket, as well as finishing the tabs, and basically just finishing the diaper completely. All right, so when you start to pin the elastic casing, you just fold in the little ledge that you start off with. Make sure it's flush with the edge so that you don't have any corners or edges that are not supposed to be there. Usually use about 3 pins across. And then you'll have a little bit extra. You pin that under so that you can make a casing for where the elastic will go into. And you're going to do that for both sides. So you're going to do that for the wicking fabric as well. Just make sure that your casing is big enough to fit the elastic. It's okay if it's too big, as long as it's not too small. I know that's what she said. I was trying so hard not to say it. Alright, so you got your pinning done. The next part is just to sew it together. Okay. So when you go to sew the elastic casing, you need to switch your dial over to a zigzag stitch. Make it the length a little over 3 if you're using a singer, and the width between about a 3 and a 4. And since I still have pink thread in here, I'm going to sew my pull first. Now remember to back stitch whenever you start and end each casing so that you secure the thread into the fabric. Little tip, pull the thread out of the way when you begin. And then I'm going to switch to white thread for the wicking fabric. If you would like to learn how to thread a sewing machine, make a comment and maybe I will look at doing one in the future. Alright, so I have my white thread put in there, and you will sew this one just like you did with the pull. Remember to back stitch to begin and end. And the next is to add the elastic to your casing. When you add the elastic, make sure you measure out about 5.5 inches, 5 to 5.5. I usually use 5.5. Take your safety pin. This is going to help you thread it through the casing. And since I still have my white thread in, I'm going to use go through the wicking fabric. Just stick the safety pin in and kind of scrunch it through. Another tedious segment to sewing a diaper. All right. And if you're a beginner, just go ahead and pin it to the fabric so that it doesn't move. More advanced sewers are probably used to doing this, so. You're still going to use a zigzag stitch, and you're going to go over it 3 or 4 times like you did on the hip elastic. And then just pull the elastic through until you see your mark where the 5.5 inch mark is. And sew that to the end of the casing as well. And then just move on to the next one. So I'm going to switch to pink fabric and do the full side. So again, you take 10 to ready for the case. Again, go ahead and pin it if you are a beginner, just right to the edge of the casing there. And you're going to go again with a zigzag stitch. And then just pull it through till you see your mark and do the other side. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then now, just to finish the pocket and secure it so that it doesn't go anywhere. Before you finish the pocket, go ahead and put some fray block on any of the hip elastic, not hip elastic, but the pocket elastic so that it doesn't fray or go anywhere. And that before you trim off any of the extra thread. So once you have cut off all the extra thread, go ahead and line up your the end of the pocket where the casing is, so that whenever you finish off the rest of the top stitch into it. So pin that together. If you're a more experienced sewer, you don't really need to. And line it up right underneath here. I usually start a little bit before the casing for the elastic. And make sure to back stitch a couple times to secure it really well. And don't start out in a zigzag. Switch to a straight stitch. go ahead and do the other side the exact same way. Right. The next step and the last step is to attach the tabs. Okay, when you go to put on the last, wait, where'd it go? Okay. To put on the last set of snaps for your tabs, whatever, can't talk. You need to get your pattern. Make sure you know where the snaps are supposed to go. You can go ahead and mark them. I'm just going to go ahead and punch the holes through here. Just line it up how you would like. And do the same to the other side. Okay, so the next step is to put the snaps on here. You're going to want to grab a cap and a stud and your snap pliers. So go ahead and you're going to want the cap to be on the pull side and the stud on the wicking fabric side. Make sure your snap pliers are all the way open. Make sure it's all centered in. And do it for all 6. Never tedious. Maybe there's something sense. You know what? That's what we're doing. And then something. Okay, and then on one of the tabs, you're going to want to put 2 socket snaps as well, facing the opposite direction, so that if they're newborn, you can overlap them. Or if you are hanging them up, they can connect to several different diapers. Sometimes I do that to let them dry. So to do that, just poke a hole in the middle of 2 of the snap caps and put the cap on the opposite side with the socket on top. What's that? And then do it right next to it as well. Alright, so once you're finished with the snaps, it's time to make sure you put fray block on any start and ending of wherever you started to sew before you clip any of the extra thread, and then you're good to go. You're done. So now that we are finished making a diaper, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what kind of tutorials you want us to do in the future. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share. If you want to visit our Etsy and buy some diapers or some cloth diaper accessories. And then we also have a Facebook. It has a bunch of tips and tricks for you to check out over sewing, cloth diapering, baking, all of the above. So check us out, and we'll see you next time.
Good enough.